Hi, friends. Hi, everyone. I know that many of our friends were excited to see Callie, but unfortunately, we had a little bit of a switch, or fortunately, because here I am. My name is Leora, and we are going to still be painting today. Just going to be painting something a little bit different than the original plan with pipe cleaners. Still going to be very, very fun. We're just getting started here. So make sure to start grabbing your paints. What you're going to need is some paintbrushes, every color paint, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. So start getting yourself all set up. I hope you are all excited and ready to paint with me. Like I said, my name is Leora. Today we are going to be making some fruit paintings. Not exactly like this, but pretty close to this. So this is one example. I'm very excited to get painting with you guys. Callie is going to be back doing her painting activity next week and still going to be here for her activity later in the week. But for now, we're going to be painting some fruit. So what are you going to need? You're going to need a plate or piece of paper or something to put your paint on. You are going to need red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, and white paint. Now, what if you don't have all those colors? What if you don't have any colors at all? We have a paint recipe that you can use, and you can use some colors to make other colors. So as long as you have red, yellow, blue, white, and black, you can make all of the other colors, because remember that yellow and red make orange, yellow and blue make green, and blue and red make purple. So as long as you have all of those colors, you can still paint with us, no problem. The first thing we're going to be painting is, like I showed you before, a watermelon. I made some sketches here so you could see them. I'm going to be painting on these little tiny canvases, but you can paint on whatever you have. You can paint on wood or paper or really, really anything you like. So we're going to get started. Like I said, we're doing the watermelon first. So I'm going to get my palette ready with, I hope I don't make a mess here, with some red. And then we're gonna need some green. Next up, we're gonna add some blue because we're gonna wanna make a turquoise for that background. And since I'm using very little canvases, I really don't need that much paint. I need very, very little paint. Next up, we are going to add a tiny bit of yellow, again, for that turquoise color, but very, very little yellow. Actually did a little bit too much, but that's okay. Then we need black and white. So I'm going to show you my watermelon palette once it's ready. And we're actually going to use pretty much the same palette for one of our other paintings. But for now, I have red, yellow, green, blue, white, and black. Now I have very little paint, like I said, because I'm painting on something very, very little. You can always add more paint after if you want to. For brushes, I have two medium-sized brushes and one tiny little brush. Again, if you're painting on something that's bigger, like a piece of paper, you can always have a bigger brush available. I'm going to be using my small brush and my small medium brush for most of what I'm doing. So we're going to get started. I actually have a towel on my lap because I don't want to get any paint on me since I'm not really at a table. But we're going to get started. So I showed you a little bit. We're going to do the turquoise background first. So we're going to have to mix a nice, pretty turquoise color. So for turquoise, we're going to get some blue, some green, a little bit of yellow, and now we're going to add some white. I think I might need a little bit more blue, not very turquoisey, a little light green, but I wanted a little bit more blue in there. So I'm going to put some more blue on. Something weird about my blue paint today. I don't know why. It's coming out very clumpy. It's all right, we'll still make it work. All right, that's a little bit more like turquoise, I think. We're gonna use it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go from one corner to the other corner diagonally. I see that I'm freezing up a little bit, so I'm going to try and show that again. I'm going to go from one corner diagonally up to the other corner in pretty much a straight line. And then I'm going to paint everything up to the top corner. And this is going to be my background. Now it's not as bright as my original turquoise that I had, so I might add a little bit more white, but it could also just look different than my original one did. That's okay too. Here, I added some more white to brighten it up a little bit. And here we go. And since I'm using these tiny little canvases, it does go pretty quickly. Maybe let's add a little more green. Okay, I think we're done with that background. What you're also going to need is a cup of water if you don't have too many brushes. If you have lots of brushes, then you don't need a cup of water because you can keep changing up the brushes. So I finished that background. I'm going to wash off my brush a little so that I can use it for the next step. So here's my watermelon background so far. First, I'm going to wipe off all the extra paint. I'm going to dip it in my cup of water. And then I'm going to wipe it off on a paper towel that I have. And the next thing I'm going to do is, you see here, we have a dark green line and then a light green line. So I'm going to put my dark green line in first, like the outside of my watermelon, and I'm going to put it right next to where my border is. If you want to make it an even darker green, you can add some black. I'm okay with the way mine is, so I'm going to leave it that color. We're going to make sure we're going to get all the little white spots, painting all the way up to our corner. This is the peel of our watermelon. And then we're going to leave what's on our brush. You can wipe it off a little bit if you want. And we're going to put some white on our brush. So now we have green and white. And we're going to make the next little line right next to that line with our lighter shade of green. So now, and then I'm going to stick it in the water to clean. So now you could see it actually ended up being a pretty much of a gray, not so much of a turquoise as my background. Then I have my thin dark green watermelon crust or peel. I don't know what it's really called. And then my light green one right next to it. And then the rest of the space right here is going to be red. That's going to be that juicy, juicy, yummy part of the watermelon. I'm going to clean my brush off once again. Wipe it off on my paper towel, get all that green off. I'm going to go in with my red. And I'm going to paint all the space that's left. Now we're going to do a couple different fruits here, but you let me know in the comments, what is your favorite fruit? I like watermelon. I think it's probably one of my favorite fruits. I like strawberries too. We're going to do that one also. Okay. I think we're done. It's really looking like a watermelon now, but we're missing one last thing. Oh, my paper towel fell on the floor. We are missing the seeds. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that thin brush that I showed you we had. We're going to take some of our black paint, not too much of it, and we are going to make some seeds. Now you can make a nice pattern if you wanted, or you can even make a letter or a heart or a special shape. I'm going to make a pattern, but even if you don't want a pattern, you can just place the seeds wherever you want. So I'm going to make a little bit of a pattern here. And you just really place your brush down very lightly to get those seeds. I'm going to go over some of them that ended up being pretty small. There you go. We have our watermelon. How's everyone doing so far? Having fun? Here outside here where I live in New York, it's really nice out. So I was able to spend a lot of time outside, but I did not think painting outside was going to go very well because I didn't want any leaves to fall on my paint. So I'm going to set this watermelon down to dry now. Now I'm going to pick up the next painting, and the next one we are going to do is a strawberry. My sketch was not so good. Hopefully our painting is going to come out better than my sketch did. So for this one, we still need the red, the green, and the white, but I'm going to add a little bit more yellow because our background for this one is going to be yellow. Now, with our watermelon, we painted our background first, but for this, we're actually going to paint our background last because that's going to be the least amount of space that we have. So we're actually going to start with our strawberry. So we're going to take our medium brush and take some red on it, and you're going to draw sort of like a raindrop shape, which is what a strawberry is. So you can draw a strawberry shape, but if you've never drawn a strawberry before, you can draw a raindrop shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from almost at the bottom and go out and then go in on top, put some more paint on my brush, and do the same thing on the other side. It does not have to be even. Mine is certainly not even. Now I'm going to fill it in because I've never seen such a perfect strawberry before. So most of the strawberries I've seen are definitely fun shapes. So that's what we're going for here. And now I'm just going to fill it in with all the red. Make sure it's all colored in. Well, it's not colored in, I guess it's painted in. I'd say strawberries are also up there as one of my favorite fruits. I like them pretty well. Okay, we have finished that part. Now we need to do the leaves at the bottom. So I'm going to clean off my brush, wipe it off on my towel. Didn't clean off very well. There we go. Now we're clean. Now I'm going to get a mix of green, yellow, and black, because if you've ever looked at the leaves of a strawberry, it's not just green. They have some streaks of other colors in there. So I'm going to trade off between some green, some yellow, and some black. And I'm just going to pretty much just draw some leaves at the bottom of my strawberry. And when I run out of paint, I'm going to go back in again with those combinations of yellow, green, and black. It sort of looks like a rocket ship, don't you think? Maybe I need to do a little bit more, some thicker leaves. I think that might be better. It still kind of looks like a rocket ship, but a very tasty rocket ship. the next thing we're going to do is our background. Like I said, we're going to do yellow for our background. Just cleaning off my brush because I don't want any other colors in that yellow. Let me get some yellow. And I'm actually going to dip into some white to make it a nice warm yellow on my brush. And I'm going to start on the outer sides of it. I'm not going to come super close up yet to my strawberry because I don't want to mix the colors. I think I need a little bit more yellow. That's better. So I'm sort of tracing the outside of my painting with this yellow, but you could see there's still a strip of white in between. I'm going to do that part now. I just didn't want to mix any red into my yellow because I don't want orange right now. Okay, halfway there, got one side done. Now it's time to do the other side. Actually going to turn it upside down to do the other side so that I can still go from the same angle. And actually, pretty much any of these paintings can go in any direction you want. Because if you think about it, you can turn a fruit into any direction that you want. So as you can see, once again, I went from the outermost part first, filled that part in, and now I'm going to go back in and go closer to my strawberry. If I don't see, I picked up a little bit of green. It's okay, we'll mix it in, it'll be fine. Very little green, so you can't even notice. All right, we finished our background. It is time for the seeds. So again, the same thing with the watermelon. If you wanted to make a pattern for your seeds, you can. If you want to make a shape, you can. I'm actually going to do them pretty randomly. I'm going to get some black on my tiny little brush again. And I'm just going to tip the brush all around, different sizes. You can't even see them from so far away. There we go. Kind of looks like freckles on the strawberry. Think about it. Anyone here have freckles? I don't know why, but I always wanted freckles as a kid. I think they're very pretty. So we have a strawberry with freckles now. All right. Now, I think it still kind of looks like a rocket ship, but that's okay. There we go. Now we have our strawberry. Like I said, a very tasty rocket ship. Now I'm going to put it down to dry next to my watermelon. Next up, we are going to be doing an orange. Now, just like the watermelon, it's going to be the inside of the orange. And for this one, we are going to need orange. So either you can mix your red and your yellow, or if you have orange paint like I do, you can add it to your palette. So for this, we're going to pretty much just need orange, yellow, and white. So if you need to add any more, I need to add a little bit more white to mine. I ran out a little bit from that. And what we're going to do first is we are going to take our super, super thin brush that we've been using for our black. I'm going to clean it off so that there's no black left on it. Oh, my brush broke. It's okay, we can pop it back on. We're going to take some orange and we are going to mark off our seeds and our peel. So I want to make my peel over here, kind of like a smile. Doesn't have to be perfect, just letting you know where it's going to go. Then I'm going to have another layer of yellow peel in the middle, and I'm going to have the rest of the bottom be orange again. And with my little orange brush, I can fill those extra spaces on the bottom in right now, or you can come back to them later. And then this space in the middle here, we're going to fill in a light yellow. Next, we are going to, like I said, draw our seeds or our pieces of our orange. Now, these could be as big or as small as you like, and you can make as few or as many as you like. I'm going to make 3. I'm going to make 2 on either side and 1 in the middle. So I'm going to take some orange on my thin brush, and I'm going to keep going with that raindrop shape. As you could see, it's sort of like a raindrop shape. And I'm going to do my middle one first. It's going to be my biggest one. Doesn't have to be perfect, again, because fruit is not perfect. I have 1. I'm going to tilt my painting a little bit so I can feel like I'm drawing straight. And draw my second one. This one is certainly not perfect, but I kind of like him. And now I'm going to tilt my painting the other way and draw my third one. This one ended up being pretty small. And now what I'm going to do is actually still using this tiny little brush because there's so many little shapes going on. I don't want to use my big brush for this. I'm going to make a combination of orange and white. And I'm going to paint in all of the outside white space. So I'm going to skip painting in this little part because remember that's going to be a yellow white. And this part is also going to be a yellowish white. So I'm just painting this section up here on the outside of my seeds. A nice, I was going to say tangerine color because, you know, that's almost what it is. So you can go over and retrace those orange seeds if you want. You don't need to mix it with white. You can just do it plain orange if you want. And I'm using my little brush again because I don't want to make any mistakes. And it's okay if you do. It's just fruit. But I feel like I don't want to end up going inside my shapes a little. And if I use a bigger brush, I think that that might happen. So we're going to stick with the little brush. Here we go, almost there. So far, so good. Actually really liking this color. Very pretty. Okay, here we go. We actually have some fruit growing in our backyard. Do you guys garden? We tried, I think we're trying strawberries right now. The seeds are drying. We have onions, but that's a vegetable. I think we did some apples. We used to have an apple tree in our backyard, but all the squirrels kept getting the apples before we could. Anyone have any tips for that? So we have some onions back there. We have some herbs. I guess the only fruits we have are really strawberries. So one of my seeds got much smaller, but that's okay. I don't mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my little brush. Clean it off. And I'm going to do the insides of my seeds first because I want those to be more white than have yellow in them. I'm going to put a tint of yellow, but not too much. And I'm going to fill in my seeds as best I can, trying not to get too much orange inside, but if I do, that's okay. Filling it in. And this part really doesn't have to be perfect because it's so light, you wouldn't even really be able to tell, but we don't want to leave the blank canvas because it looks better when you paint it. At least I think it looks better when you paint it. Oh, we got a little orange inside. That's okay. Do you ever wonder why an orange is called an orange? Like, why don't we have different names for it? Does anybody know? I always wondered. Maybe I'm the only one. All right, I'm doing my last seed now. Okay, I am ready to add some more yellow and do my peel at the bottom. Almost done with our orange. All right, there we go. I think we're done. There's our orange. So I think that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll review what we have. We have our orange painting. I wish I had 3 hands because we have 3 paintings, but let's see if I can hold them all. We have our orange. There we go. We have our strawberry and we have our watermelon. So thanks for much for painting. Thank you so much for painting with us. You can also, if you wanted, there were some other ones I thought of were pineapples or lime or lemon or kiwi. You can really paint any fruit you want. It's pretty fun. It's lots of colors and it definitely feels like summer when we are painting these fruits. I hope you had fun with us today. I hope that you show us your fruit paintings, send us pictures, or tag Get Your Play Online. And please don't forget to join us tonight for our bedtime stories and again for the rest of the week for all of our other fun activities we have planned. Have a great night, everyone.